Nice News, the show celebrating all things happy and positive. My name's Steve Surridge, aka Mr. Happiness 2000, a professional happiness coach, and this is...
My name is Kaie, and I'm a professionally happy person. Welcome to Nice News. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We know that you have choices of where you could spend your Monday early evening, and you choose to be here with us. So we are grateful and we thank you.
Yeah, so the purpose of this show every week is to bring you 30 minutes of positive news stories, funny moments, all things happiness related. And to celebrate your achievements on the show as well, we'll be talking to a number of you during the show, but I think it's time to go for us to hear some nice news.
But what is nicer than kindness? And in a world where you can be anything, be kind. That was one of the last social media posts from Caroline Flack, who sadly took her life earlier this year. Now, I know the year's only 6 months old, but with everything that's been going on, COVID, the events over the weekend and other world events, it is sometimes not surprising that we wonder about humanity. Shakespeare spoke about the milk of human kindness, and sometimes it's easy to think that there is none of it around, but I assure you there is. Just before the pandemic, the skincare brand Simple, along with the Positive News Network, launched the Kindness Awards. And Simple's global brand ambassador said, "We strongly believe that individuals can make a positive impact, and that collectively we have the power to make the world a better place." Now, we've heard lots of bad news during this pandemic. We've also heard lots of really, really good news where people were just being kind to each other, like neighbors helping out other neighbors who were self-isolating, whether they wanted stuff from the shops or they just wanted a chat. Children, this was my favorite one, children using their pocket money to help buy essential supplies for NHS and other key workers, also for their vulnerable neighbours if they needed anything. And some of these kids even did something called a kindness patrol, which was checking on their vulnerable neighbours, making sure they were okay. And let's not forget our Thursday night clap at 8 o'clock for the NHS and other key workers, showing them our appreciation. I would rather the government showed them a little money, but we showed appreciation, and that was, that was grand. Now, I know that we're coming out of this lockdown now, slowly but surely, and things are getting back to normal. Although, as I said, normal was what got us here. But I know this whole experience, for me, it hasn't been too bad. I've actually enjoyed the quiet and the solitude and the ability to clear my head and my house. But I know a lot of people have been really badly affected by it. They felt overwhelmed, hopeless, and even suicidal. So I will say this to you, I will take something out of the old AT&T, which was the American phone company. They had a commercial that said, reach out and touch somebody. Please do. If you know somebody who lives alone that you haven't heard from in a while, please call them, send them a text, send them an email, let them know you're thinking about them. There's nothing wrong with you, if you can, going round to seeing them if that's at all possible, socially distancing, of course. And if you really, really need them, then the Samaritans are always, always there. But please do not suffer in silence, because we're not alone.
Yeah, it's so important to realise this is a kind universe, although we are bombarded with negative media, which is telling us the worst stories of the day every day. But change starts with ourselves. If you want this to be a much more, kind and positive world, make yourself the person that demonstrates that by helping others, by helping the neighbour, sending that, that text that just ask someone if they're okay. Makes such a difference. Thank you, Kaie.
What was that Michael Jackson said about looking at the man in the mirror, or the woman in the mirror? Yeah, that's what we have to do. On a slightly lighter note, I love a good laugh. Everybody who knows me knows that my friends actually call me the Minister for Light Entertainment, because I'm always looking, for a jolly. And when I do this show, I always look for stories that will make me laugh. And if they show a bit of ingenuity, then that is fine too. Now, last week, we spoke about what I call the jet ski graduation ceremony. And this week I'm going to talk about a pub in a garden. So, you know, the pubs have been closed due to this pandemic. I don't think they're due to open until early next month. Pubs are a great part of the British culture, but they've been closed. But one guy didn't want to wait. I say guy, it could have been a woman. It could have been a woman because they were very ambivalent about who they were and where this building actually was. But they didn't want to wait for the pubs to reopen, so they built a pub in their back garden. A literal pub. It's got the sign hanging up outside. It's called the Drunken Crab. You look at the pictures and you will see beer pumps. You will see a chalkboard with food menus. It's got a snug. It's got those cute old-fashioned ale posters, which I love so much. It's got a dartboard because no pub is complete without a dartboard. And of course, it's got the bar with the alcoholic drinks behind the bar. It looks like the real thing. Hell, it is the real thing. The only thing I can't tell you is where it is, because the person who did this just put them up on social media, didn't leave a name, didn't say here it is, didn't want anybody dropping around for a quick pint or a quick shandy, as they say. But I would love to find out where this place is because it is so spectacular.
No, I think that's excellent. I do wonder if this is going to take off. You know, people are fed up waiting for the pubs to open. Why not just build your own pub?
Chris has already got his own pub. He's swigging from something.
Let's go to our audience. Let's ask Chris then, first of all.
Yes.
You should be
Hey,
there.
Chris.
Now.
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
We can hear you.
We're good. How are you doing? Well, I can see how you're doing.
Yeah, we're very good. We've got pizza and we've got beer. Mark's got a cherry copper bag ready to go as well.
Oh my gosh.
We're loving life. Actually, funny you should talk about the pub in the garden because our next door neighbours actually built one. And it's called
Really?
Johnson's Den.
Uh-huh.
It's got little flaps at the front that you can open up to make the bar kind of accessible to everyone.
Right.
They've got all the optics in there and the glasses. And we were actually in there yesterday having a few lemonades at a barbecue that they had.
A few holy grape juices, Chris.
Oh, indeed, yes.
So it's happening already then. People are creating these pubs at the end. What are the pub crawls like then?
Well, we're actually talking about doing one in our garden now, so we can literally go from our house to their house and do our own pub crawl.
What I want to ask is,
Steven's got a question for you. Oh my goodness.
Are the toilets as skanky as normal pub toilets?
There was a bucket in the garden.
There was a bucket in the garden, and on it said "visitors toilet." So there you go. You make your own mind to do that one.
Thanks for that, Chris.
Oh,
Let's ask Georgie King for all the way in South Africa. We're going to talk to Georgie in a bit. Georgie, how's the pub situation in South Africa?
Dire, everything's shut. South Africa has had the strictest and longest lockdown of anywhere in the world. So we were only for nearly 2 months, only allowed to exercise for between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Everything was shut. It's slowly opening up now, but there are no pubs. So they banned alcohol sales.
Wow. So would you be up for making your own pub then in your garden?
Now that I can buy alcohol, I could make my own in the garden, yes. Although it's South Africa, so I really don't feel like I want to mess with the law here of all continents to do that.
Wow. Okay, now we're going to come back to you shortly then. Thank you for that, Georgie. So many people have been stressed and suffering during this COVID-19 lockdown situation. But many people, including myself, have been celebrating this opportunity and getting productive. That is what the show is about tonight, finding people that have been utilising this hiatus in our lives to do something big with their lives. First of all, before we visit our three guests tonight, I visited an online forum this week where people had posted the following comments. I think this says it all. After 37 years working without a break, it is the biggest gift I've ever received. For 2 weeks, I've started to think differently. I'm more relaxed, I sleep better, and I feel myself more. Someone else said, I wish there was a lockdown for 4 weeks every year, but without any virus, just so that people can relax and think about what really matters. No planes, no cars, no stress. And finally, I love this. I could never go back to my job or any job. This is the happiest and free I've ever been. I love this time. So yeah, I think this, for some people, this has been a phenomenal time. where they've been able to catch their breath, take stock, and decide what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah.
Joining us on the show tonight, we've got Steve Braddock from Liverpool. Steve has utilised this lockdown time to set up his own online TV station, Maghole TV. So let me unmute Steve. So Steve, so tell us more. What got you started with setting up your own TV station?
Well, I decided, like everyone else, what am I going to do during lockdown? So I thought, I know, it's a good idea. I'll set up a TV station for the community, giving them information, entertainment. I gave myself a week, which was way too short for what I needed.
That's ambitious. Wow. Okay.
It was ambitious. So I started sending invites out. I started doing all the idents and editing, getting ready, all the social media. I sent it to the local MPs and everyone. Say, let's get involved. Can I get you on the show? A lot of them answered quite quickly. Some took a bit longer. So I did put the show on a week later. It was a bit all over the place, to be honest, because I'm used to the technical side. I sort of work in that. I needed to do a bit about streaming, as you're doing now, but I'd never presented before in that sort of way. So that was a whole new ball game, and especially editing and presenting at the same time, if you see what I mean, was slightly difficult. So
it's been a learning curve. But has it pretty much been easy, would you say, or would you, if you had to do it, would you park the idea if you had to do this again?
Oh no, I would definitely do it again. I would say it's been quite difficult. I was doing long hours to get it set up, but it's so enjoyable meeting different people nearly every day. It could be MPs, authors, musicians, anyone, you know what I mean? I contact them or they contact me. People send me stuff from all over the country. I've just started going a bit broader, so I'm doing like Beatles tributes from around the world. So I've interviewed people from Puerto Rico, America. I've got a band from Italy tomorrow. And I've just made a documentary with a local historian about a murder locally. So that's got 6,000 hits today. So I'm pleased with that. So to start with, I thought it'd be just great to involve the community, you know what I mean? So I'm still putting stuff out, even though it's gone broader. Half of it is still local for what people need. And it's been really, really enjoyable. It's kept me talking to people that wouldn't have happened. No way would it have happened if we hadn't been in lockdown. So it's been really good.
So what has been your biggest achievement so far?
Biggest achievement, really to get it started within a week, I suppose, in that sort of way. But it was only really, I thought I'll just do 1 week and see how it goes. And then the feedback was that it? You know, aren't you doing next week? And this week I'm on week 13. I went out of the house in the car for the first time in 13 weeks. A couple of days ago, I haven't been out at all. There's been no time. I'm still working 3 days a week for a college, making stuff for them as well. So I've just been sat in front of the computer. So it's been an achievement, I think, to get it up and running and get such good feedback. And I put it out on Facebook, the clips from the main show every day now, and that's getting between 1,000 and 3,000 hits every day. So pleased with it, you know. I mean, it's not all about that. It's just about people enjoying what we're putting out. You know, it could be anything.
That's what we say. It's about the joy. So, what's your plans for this then, Steve?
Good point. At the moment, I want to keep it going. If I have to go, I'm in work in education, so like I say, it's 3 days a week. I'm working from home and they're happy for me to work. As long as I do the work, I can do it when I want. When I have to actually physically go back in, and I'm presuming that's going to be September, be a bit more difficult. So I've approached a couple of people about being presenters on the show and to expand it and make it a bit easier for myself, to be honest, because at the moment I just do everything myself. So keep it going and get other people involved. That's the plan. Maybe get some funding for it locally to make it so we can go out and film and do everything when all this is over.
No, brilliant. Kaie, have you got any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, I was going to say, Stephen, we're slacking. He's talking to a historian about a murder, you know, doing all of this stuff. We're slacking.
It's not happy. Murder's not happy. Unless it's a happy murder. Is there a happy murder?
No, that's an oxymoron. But Steve, I wanted to say congratulations. You know, because funny enough, Stephen and I, we've worked together in the past, and we kind of threw this idea around. And we talked on the Tuesday, and Stephen was like, right, do you want to do it on Monday? And I was like, what, the Monday coming? No, that's too much for me. Can we do it the following Monday? So I take my hat off to you for doing everything, because we present and then I throw the video at Stephen to edit, because my editing skills are somewhere between slim and none. So, but you have now inspired me to pick up that mantle and do a bit more. So thank you very much, and very well done. Very well done.
Thank you.
No, it's amazing, isn't it? So, you know, so your memory of the lockdown is, you know, when years to come. Do you remember that virus thing? Do you remember that lockdown? What did you do? Oh, I set up my own TV station.
Yeah. But you
Well,
know,
I think it's brilliant to be in lockdown, so
oh, it is.
I don't want to come out of it, but there we are.
Yeah, I'm the same. So Steve,
Steve,
what words of advice would you give for anyone who's looking to do something big like this themselves? What would you say to them?
I would say prepare yourself for the hard work, because it will be hard work, but it will be an enjoyable ride. But in my own experience, perhaps get some other people to help right from the start, but don't shy away from it. Go for it, because like you say, in years to come, I've put all the clips on YouTube, including yours as well.
Yeah.
All the clips on YouTube, so I'll be able to look back to it. Oh, that was a really good time, you know.
So let me ask you a question. Actually, I shouldn't really ask Stephen this question, because the answer, he'd be able to give his answer from his name, Mr. Happiness 2000. But did you all know that happiness is a skill? It's a skill the way you can learn to dance or you can learn to play an instrument. According to Forbes.com, scientists believe that we can literally rewire our neural pathways with training. And with the right kind of training, we can get those neural pathways to concentrate more on good stuff like joy and happiness and sunshine and the occasional glass of holy grape juice, as opposed to focusing less on anxiety and fear and anger, all the negative stuff. So you can train your brain happy.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. It's the stuff that I teach. Thought patterns are magnetic, so you get more of whatever you're focused on and thinking. And it is, it's about being conscious. I always say you can choose to endure or enjoy life. It is a choice.
Yeah.
Most people are unconscious that they have that choice, though. And it is about, where do you choose to focus your attention? In a world where we're we keep saying this, bombarded with negativity, do you ignore that and not let it absorb you and just focus on the brilliant aspects of life, because there is so much to celebrate? Or do you just repeat what you're told and say, the world's getting worse? We haven't got our next guest, have we?
I was going to say, where is Desiree? Because we were going to tell you all about Desiree's clothing line, but she's not around right now. So do you want to talk to Georgie about the horrors of being locked down in South Africa?
Kaie, you talk to Georgie.
Okay, I'll talk to Georgie. And
I will mute myself.
Unmute. Thank you. If you could unmute Georgie for me, that would be great. Hey, Georgie, how are you?
I'm really good, thank you. This is so enjoyable.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Stephen was telling me about you being locked down in South Africa. You've mentioned that it has some of the strictest restrictions worldwide. How long have you been in South Africa?
I've been here now for 3.5 months. So I was meant to be here for 3 months. So it's not like I've been, stuck for months on end when I shouldn't have been here. I was meant to be here for 3 months, but now we don't know when we can get home.
Okay. So tell us all about this business you've created, because our question was, what have you been up to during lockdown other than eating, which is what I was doing at the beginning, and then I thought, no, I'm not going to do that much anymore. What have you been doing? Something more constructive, I'm sure.
Well, I have been putting on weight too, if that's any consolation. We had 3 weeks in South Africa before lockdown started, and I'm the kind of person that when I get to a country, if I'm not out doing something and experiencing the culture or a new activity, I get serious FOMO, and that's something I really need to work on. And this was my ultimate test, because the lockdown in South Africa, we weren't for 5 weeks allowed out of the house at all, apart from emergency grocery shopping. You weren't allowed to exercise, you weren't allowed to go for a walk, nothing.
5 weeks?
For 5 weeks, yeah.
5. Okay.
So 5, yes. So for, people were complaining in the UK they had 1 hour of exercise. Well, we didn't even get that. So
Okay.
for me, I actually found it really liberating. All of a sudden, all these things I could be doing, all these surf lessons I could, hypothetically be having, or these places to visit or mountains to climb, or the hours I would be spending on Google and Airbnb experiences and all these things, just that choice, that option got taken away from me, and I actually found it incredibly liberating. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I can't do this. I'm going to put the energy and focus and the time that my business deserves and put all my energy into that instead. So
what is your business? What was your business?
So I am a nutritional therapist and a health coach. And before I came to South Africa, I've also worked in television actually for 13 years as a producer.
Okay.
And for the last couple of years, I've been trying to make that transition from TV to nutrition. But just to be honest, just being quite complacent and a bit lazy with it, never prioritizing it. And this really was my opportunity to prioritize it. I've been on my health journey for a long time, but this, as we know, lockdown challenged many people's mental health, physical health. And I just thought, this is the time. The veil is down. If we're ever going to look at our health and our priorities and what we're aligned with what we're doing, and what we enjoy and how we want to spend our time when our identity is completely stripped away. We don't have our jobs. We don't have our social circles. We don't have our, clubs that we go to or whatever it might be that distracts us from a day-to-day basis. Who are we at the core with all of that gone? And so I set up my nutrition business, but I set up online retreats. I set up communities online for women. And much like Steve was saying, just really something for a community aspect, because we are social beings, and taking away that interaction has massively affected people's mental health. So at the very least, we could come online and meet. And it's been a real savior for me running online retreats and pulling resources from people and providing that space for people.
So the food we eat, I know, does play a great part in our mental health. Do you focus on a particular type of nutrition? Like, is it vegan or is it omnivore?
No, my ethos is really about going back to the tried and tested wisdom of our ancestors. So it's different for every person. When I work with clients, I really teach them to come in tune with their own bodies and what they need, and exactly like you say, working out what food makes them sing, and really coming back to our intuition, because the noise of daily life has shut that down. Mm-hmm. And what I found with women that I've worked with in the last couple of months through lockdown is that without their daily busy, crazy routines and social obligations and feeling like they need to say yes to everything, they can actually sit down and think, actually, what do I enjoy? What makes me feel good? Where am I eating things that really actually are adding to this feeling of disharmony in my mind or my body? So that's really my ethos, is about connecting women back to their bodies and building a more harmonious relationship with food, so they don't feel like they're on a diet, but actually it's really just falling in love with food and what it can do to fuel you.
So outside of this lockdown, when South Africa lifts its gates and you can all come and go freely, where do you see your business going? Will it stay online, or you said you offered online retreats? Will you be looking at physical spaces for those?
Yeah, I see it a sort of half and half, I guess. I have a community now where I run daily meditations in there, and a lot of the women in there are from all over the world. So just sort of in practical terms, we won't probably be able to all physically meet. Mm-hmm. But certainly, normally in my practice, I would want to socially prescribe, which is literally prescribe a social situation, because it's so important, and we really don't value community enough, especially in the UK and London especially. So I see it both. You have the online offerings that people from around the world can join. It's accessible for anyone, and also you can reach big groups in one go, so you can make it in terms of payment and monetary much more accessible for people. But then also physical meetup events, one-to-one, therapy as well with people. So I see a bit of both, but this has just been the most amazing gift to me, to force me to focus on this and also really understand people's pain points without all this noise around us that we normally have on a day-to-day basis.
You know, I'm not the only one that has thoroughly enjoyed this lockdown. I looked up at the sky this morning and I saw aeroplane trails, and I was so upset because I've been so used to seeing blue skies and hearing the quiet. And it's wonderful that you have taken this time to build something that not only was your passion that you wanted to do, but something that is going to benefit so many people, not just in your own community, but in the global community. So good. Round of applause. Good
No,
start.
I love the fact, Georgie, you said you see this as a gift, because I have, I think, and you know, those comments that I read out, this, if we said last week, if you embrace chaos, life can become so much more of an adventure, so much more joyous. And yeah, you've done that, and Steve as well, you've both done that.
Steve, yeah.
And so you're going to have a memory of this lockdown that, well, hey, the lockdown.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I have struggled. I'm an extrovert. I'm a real social butterfly, not in terms of, pubs and stuff necessarily, but I really thrive off human interaction. So it was really a coping mechanism for me too. But it's taught me a lot about myself. I don't know if anyone else feels that, but all of my things I thought I dealt with have come back up.
Yeah.
So,
no, I felt because I live in like quite a social aspect. That's where we met, George, isn't it? In like a co-living establishment. And for me, it's like been living on a space station where you can walk up and down these decks, and there's been about 200 other people I've been living with, but we haven't been able to go outside. And I felt it's like being on Big Brother for me. So many people have had a breakdown, but because I'm Mr. Happy and I'm conscious of my thoughts, I've just enjoyed it. I said from day one, I'm going to enjoy this. You can't fight it. And I'm still having a ball. And with Kaie, we've ended up doing this show and talking to you guys. So. Before we go there, we're wrapping up now. Let's go one more time for some nice news.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you with the phrase, smile and the world smiles with you. None of us thinks on a daily basis how often we smile. It's not something we think about. It's a bit like asking how often do you blink? But smiling, just like blinking, is very good for us and helps us in more ways than one. For a start, it lowers your blood pressure, it can reduce stress and pain, and the release of serotonin and dopamine, said that without stumbling, I'm so proud. The release of these two feel-good drugs, natural feel-good drugs into your system helps you feel more relaxed. When you smile, you appear more confident and attractive to others. And there's so many things we can do to make ourselves smile. Cook a good meal, chat to a friend, or for me, sitting with the sun on my skin. That's my happy place.
Oh my God, yeah, the sun makes me feel amazing. I was out sunbathing actually just before the show, so I had to top up my tan. So yeah, I'm with you on that. No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much, Kaie, for all the nice news. We are wrapping up now, so thank you to our amazing guests.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. As I said, you could be anywhere on a Monday evening and you choose to be here. And for that, Mr. Happiness 2000 and Kaie are eternally grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, next week we're following up from what we've been hinting at today about self-care. We're looking at self-care. So, and we want your self-care stories or tips and advice on that you can share with others. You can email us at info@touchlifeproductions.com. You can message us via our meetup group, which will be appearing below. And also you can follow us, this show and all other shows on YouTube.
And all the links to the stories will be at the bottom as well, especially the pub one, because I know that's the only one you guys are interested in.
I'm amazed that it started already. It's the new virus, pubs in your garden. Move over COVID, pub gardens.
Cover your garden, yeah.
Have a great week then, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. See you soon.
Excellent.
Bye.
Take care.